What's up, everybody? Welcome. Happy, what's today? Today is Wednesday. It's hump day, baby. Welcome to the live stream. I am really excited for today. We're going to have a really fun day of reviewing Instagram profiles. Today, hopefully, if the stars and planets and everything else aligns. Oh, speaking of planet alignments, hold on here. Look who we have here, Miss Irene Rudnyk. I can't hear you, though. I think your mic might be off. Let's see. So, yeah, I was about to say we're waiting for Irene to come in.
Okay.
There you are in the house.
Oh, my goodness.
Miss Irene Rudnyk. How the heck are you?
I'm frantic right now.
You're frantic? Why are you so frantic?
I don't know why every time we doesn't like
the audio.
perfectly.
The
You can't
audio
hear me?
No, now I hear you, but it was like cutting in and out.
I'm just trying to adjust my microphone.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good.
There we go.
Welcome. Yeah, I'm going to blame it on just the Canadian cold.
Just blame everything on that. That's what I do as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's what was just knocking out the whole camera connection thing. But really excited to have you on. We're going to have a fun time. I know you were in the chat for Manny's video that we did together. So I think you kind of get a feel for, what's going on. Obviously, you're going to add your own flair, your own spin to it. So, yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. So before we get started, how's everything been? It's been a little while.
Everything's great. I actually have an exciting call for something after this live stream.
Ooh.
But I can't say what it is just yet.
Canon R5000. That's my guess.
No, it is something to do with Canon, but nothing to do with gear.
Oh. Well, I'm still excited because you're excited, so I'm excited. I don't know what it's for, but
I'm very excited. And see, I was setting up my setup today. So nice. I have like the camera, like the lights, and like the lights in the background. It's supposed to look so good with the camera and like a good lens. I'm kind of bounded like. Now it's just the laptop quality, but at least the sound is good.
The sound is good. I see what you were going for with the whole RGB vibe in the back. I dig it. It's cool.
You know what I'm using? I don't know if you see these, but I love these things.
So bright.
The little
the
little Godox RGB lights.
Yeah.
I love these things. They're so small, but they're actually like powerful, and I've used them in a bunch of my photo shoots, even like as I lit up the backdrop with this, or I put it as a hair light behind the model, and it like actually works really, really well.
That's awesome.
And then I can use them here.
I'm waiting for like the whole like self-portrait video that you end up doing, like a 2021 updated version with like RGB lighting. That would look awesome. Pretty sweet.
Well, you know what? Now with the lockdowns again happening here in Canada as well, am I gonna have to resort to self-portraits again? Maybe.
Man, that's terrible. That's so terrible. I was all excited because I'm trying to plan a trip to go somewhere and like go shoot something fun. And I was like, you know what? I got friends in Canada. Like, I should go to Canada and go shoot something. And I'm like, oh, I can't go. Not allowed.
No, I really don't understand what happened, but yeah.
It's the moose. I blame it on the moose.
The cold weather. It's the
cold weather and all the moose spreading COVID. That's how it goes. I apologize in advance for my Canadian jokes. I'm always messing around.
Oh, I mean,
with like Taylor Jackson.
I mean, I'm not Canadian, so
you're not. So
I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I don't know. I do consider myself like I'm like half Ukrainian, half Canadian.
Yeah, certain words you say, I'm like, nah, you're kind of Canadian.
Really? You think I have like sort of a Canadian accent?
Certain words.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I remember when I came to Canada, And then I've heard the people say like, oh, Canadians have an accent. I still don't understand it. Like I don't hear it. I don't understand what that is. Maybe like the A and maybe like the about, like the instead of about, it's like a little bit like about.
Yep. How do you say bag?
That's the only thing that I've ever heard. Which
bag? Like a camera bag.
Bag?
You say bag?
A camera bag.
Okay, good.
Okay, but listen, that's just my accent, my Ukrainian accent. I have trouble saying O's. So like Photoshop, I say more like Photoshop.
Yeah. I can hear it.
So that might be just me, like my weird accent, or like cookies. I used to say like cookies, you know, so there's sometimes they say some words very funny. Oh, you know what was funny? In my last video, I was shooting with like budget gear, and I said that the setup is about $1,000, but people heard that I said the setup is $8,000. So all of the comments were just
I can't afford that.
flooded with like $8,000 is not budget.
Yeah, seriously.
I was like, no.
Oh my gosh.
Said $8,000.
Gotta love it. You know, sometimes I feel like that's when it's a good idea to have other people watch your videos, just in case, like before you publish. You could just add like a little star asterisk thing that just says like 1,000.
For sure. For sure. I used to ask my husband to do it, but then I got too lazy with it. But I need it, and I need it for spelling. I'm like notorious for misspelling everything. So.
Yeah.
It's really bad with that stuff.
So I'm looking through the chat room here. So somebody is saying that my audio is really bad. So I think it's because you have your speakers on and I could hear myself through your speakers. Do you have headphones by chance?
Oh, shoot. I do have headphones.
Because you sound good, but I can hear me through your computer.
You are correct. That's probably it.
See? So there we go. We figured that part out.
I'm so unprepared. For...
No worries.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, how about that?
Awesome. Love it.
My gaming headphones.
I like it. I'm going to ask you about your gaming preferences here in a little bit, because I want to know. I'm curious. But Robert Gordon was asking, so it's his first time here with the reviews. How do I choose who to review? So it's really hard. In the beginning of the live streams, what I'm doing is anyone who does a super chat donation, obviously they get bumped up the line. But I've already pre-selected a few from those of you who shared your Instagram profiles in the chat. So basically, I'm going to go through the super chats. Once we run out of those, I'm going to start going through the ones that I already pre-selected. And basically, you can leave your Instagram handles in the chat room. And as time goes on, once we start buzzing through all the other profiles, I'll just start going at random and picking through them. Don't be upset or hurt if you don't get picked. You know, I'll do some more of these in the future, and I'll have other guests on. We're going to try to go through as many as we can, but obviously we have time constraints because, you know, Irene's got an exciting phone call she's got to take care of here really soon, and we don't want her to be late for that. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up the Instagram pages here off screen. All right. So let us share. All right. And share screen. And let us do this one. Boom. Okay. All right. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So let's get started. Our very first page that we're going to go through here is Darum Pictures. So it's Darius Mikowski. He's a portrait and fashion photographer. He's got around 2,000 followers, or a little over 2,000. And I'll just kind of scroll through. And so you saw kind of the format, the way that we were doing this. We're kind of just looking at the photos, giving our impressions as a whole of the Instagram page. And then, you know, if you want to add some comments about the work itself, you know, good, bad, or not necessarily bad, but just areas for improvement. I'll kind of let you start off and let me know what you see.
Okay, so I see he's Polish, right? Let me know if that's
believe
correct,
so.
if he's watching.
Yeah, with that name, I would guess, but I could be wrong.
Okay, first impressions, I really like the work. First of all, it looks expensive.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he would charge, not like $500 for a photo shoot. It would be like more, which I like because we want to look expensive. We want to look like we have high-end clients. Everything is styled very nicely. The colors look good. The feed looks good. I like that there's not too many of the same images. And like I used to do that thing where you put like 3 pictures, 3 pictures, 3 pictures, but I don't really like it anymore. And I see that he's not really doing that, which I think looks really good. It looks more like a portfolio than like, an Instagram feed so much. Yeah, it looks very good. It's hard for me to see like it very close up here on the screen. I'm trying to so it's hard to see if like the editing and the colors. I mean,
if you want
from
me to,
far away,
I can
like
blow
what I
one
see
up
right
for
now,
you.
it looks really good.
Do you want me to click on any one of these in particular, and I could show you?
Yes, let's do that.
So let's see, which one do you think?
I mean, there are a few that I don't like. Like if you scroll down just a little bit, the girl sitting on like the sport one, I don't really like that picture.
Okay.
I just don't like that thing that she's sitting on. I would just take it out. I see that he was trying to mix in like the lifestyle, like sports thing in there. But I think that picture is just kind of a little bit boring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just something that like stands out from all the other pictures that I see there. What do you think?
Yeah.
Am I just like being nitpicky?
No. I mean, I kind of see where you're going with it. I think, the subject in the photo, she looks great. Like you can cut her out and put her anywhere else. And, I'm sure she would be like, oh, wow, I look great in this photo. But to me, it looks like it's like an air conditioning unit or something like that. So you've got like this sporty type look, great windy hair, sitting on, maybe an apartment community or something, AC vent. Like, and I'm sure that's not what it is, but I'm just saying, like, you see where somebody could go with it. So I don't know, maybe this will be something where like, a different location with the same pose would be nicer, I think. The lighting also, like having that background of having a building. I don't know. I see where you're coming from with it.
It's it's a little bit too busy, but like I totally agree with what you said. Like she looks great. She looks amazing. I love her pose. I love her smile, everything. But yeah, the background's a little bit too busy. But honestly, like I don't really see much of a critique I can give. I think he has his own style. It looks great. I can see like what his style is and what his client is. So it's all very like, I can see it right away, like what he usually does and what he's going for, what kind of person he's looking for to work with. So like, I would just be maybe just a little bit more selective than with pictures. Maybe I would just clean it up just a little bit to have just your best images. But other than that, I think it's great. I'll give it like 4.5 stars out of 5.
That's pretty good. We're starting out the stream pretty strong here. I'm right there with you too. I think the quality of the work is really good overall. I think a little bit more, I don't know, you kind of have to critique yourself when you start posting images on Instagram and really just focus on posting your best work. A lot of these shots, you have fantastic lighting. Like say, for example, like this photo, the lighting is really nice. Skin looks great. But then like, I don't know if it's the same person, but it is. So then I scroll down to this one and then you see the lighting on this where like basically her nose is the only thing lit on her face. So when that happens, it makes the person's nose look a little bit bigger than it might be in actuality. So then, this would be one where I'd be like, hey, if I was going to use this, maybe I would try to, bring in a reflector or use off-camera flash or something like that so that you have even light or just pleasant light the way that you did in that, first photograph, which looks like it was in that same location, So yeah, this is one of those where like, I like the portfolio. I think you just need to go through and just be like Irene, be nitpicky.
what I'm gonna do also once you start putting out Instagrams, I'm gonna have it on my phone as well, just so I can see it a little bit better. Because I think it's a little bit hard for me to see, but I'll have it here now and I'll be able to see the details a little bit better.
I like that.
Because what you just said, I didn't even notice that picture. It was hard for me to see, but I completely agree with what you said.
Pretty cool. All right. So hopefully that helps out. Thanks for the super chat. And let's go to our next one here.
Ooh.
Charlie Papas. We've got 1,163 followers, commercial photographer. And so I'll start off while you're looking at it on the phone, kind of getting a sense of it. So there's a few things for me, just kind of going through a few of these. Really interesting portfolio. You've got some nice location stuff, got some nice studio work. There's a couple of things here that kind of jump out at me. The first thing being that, like, say this image, for example, and this is an older, photo, I could tell 2017. The color in this looks a little bit preset-ish is the only word that I could think of. It feels like, it was a really nice photo. Probably the raw was really nice. And then it's like, oh, let me just drop one of these presets on the photo to like spice it up. And I think in doing that, it doesn't look as good as it could. Like, it kind of made the photo look a little cheaper. But, good mix of studio and location work. And then this other photo here, I don't know, this one kind of, I don't get. It looks like it's maybe supposed to be like a 3D type of photo or something, but because I don't have a 3D monitor, it makes me feel like my vision's really bad because she's so blurry. Maybe my vision is really bad. I don't know. I don't know, Irene. What do you think on this?
After staring for computers for so long, you never know.
That's true.
Okay. First thing that I'm gonna say, it's just my personal preference, but also I think for Instagram, I do not like white borders.
Yeah. So you're talking about this?
I just don't. Especially. So listen, you could do white borders if you do it right. So if you do really like them, you want to do it, then every single one of your pictures should have white borders. Okay. Or maybe like one random picture once in a blue moon that you really, really love the way it is, you want to put white borders, sure. But if you're posting pictures and like some of them are the Instagram crop and some of them are like square and some of them are something else, some of them have the borders, then the whole feed looks very messy. Like if you scroll through the feed just in general, you'll see that he has like a variation of like one picture takes up the full square of Instagram feed, and some pictures have borders, and some pictures have borders on vertical, and then some have the landscape. It makes the feed look very, very messy. And I'll tell you, it is a very important thing to not have your feed look messy, because someone takes one look at your feed first and then they decide to follow you or not, or like to stay looking at your pictures or to leave it immediately. So if your feed from that first look does not look appealing and looks kind of messy like this, then like chances are you're not gonna have that many people staying on it. So that's one thing I would do. Just get rid of the white borders. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to crop your images. It's not that big of a deal. Most of these portraits are like, you can easily crop them. You don't need like the full ratio in there, in my opinion. Also, what is that? Like, there's like writing on the pictures. Yeah, that also, just get rid of that as well and post it in the description of the image. You can tag everyone. That way they can actually click on it and go to their page. Like, no one is reading that and no one is, it's just distracting. And I'm just like, what is that? So same with the, like, it's like a, what is it called? Like a copyright. Mm-hmm. A lot of people put their little like names and stuff like that. Just like, I don't see the reason for it. If someone wants to steal your image, like, I can get rid of it in 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Your name is on the screen, like on the Instagram picture, like it's your account. I think it doesn't need to be there. Again, that's just like my personal opinion. I know that some people still like to have their name on their pictures, and it's totally fine. But from like my personal like advice is to just get rid of all of that stuff. It's very distracting.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I pulled this photo up, because I saw all of this, all the credits and stuff for the photograph, and I'm like, that's what the description is for. That doesn't really belong, like, even here. This information, this is great, but like, let's just say, for example, I see this and I'm like, oh, Stacey Gibbs is the makeup artist. I bet you if I search Stacey Gibbs on Instagram, I'm going to find like 20,000 Stacey Gibbs. Like, I won't be able to find her. So, if we're going to give proper credit, which I commend you for giving credit to everybody who helped to make the image possible, but use it in the description, because that's going to be a big thing. Other than that, I mean, like I'm looking at this and you're off to a good start. You've got great faces, yeah.
I agree. The photography itself is really nice. I like it, but also I kind of notice it's like there is style to it for sure. Like, I can see that it's his work, but then some images are very different than others.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like just the one that you were showing, it just looks very, very different than some other images. And then again, I'm just looking here. Like here, this image right here with the leaves,
yeah,
like you have it over there. Look at that white border.
Yeah.
Why is it on the side? It's not even like on both sides.
Yep.
This one is just completely like weirdly on the side. Like, this picture would look so good, like taking up the full space. And I'll tell you really quickly why borders, not only does it look messy, but apparently people prefer when a picture takes up the whole space. Yep. Because visually we like something that takes up more space and something we like immediately gravitate towards it. It's something that we immediately just want to look at. So just in general, like, white borders not only look messy, but it's something that distracts from like the overall image. So especially when we're looking on this screen that's already small, like on our phones, and I have this picture and like half of the image is like white block. So definitely I would just like, either you can leave all these pictures and when you start posting again, just get rid of that altogether. Or I would just like redo my whole feed right now, because like he doesn't, or at least like the top half, I would redo it, just because it doesn't have that many like likes anyway. So if he redoes it, like no one's going to really notice. You know what I mean?
No foul. But I mean,
so that's what I would do.
These photos are a little bit on the old side, and I think that's for me, like we're looking at a photo and talking about a photo that's fairly recent on the feed, but it's from November 6, 2017. So that's an old photo right there.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, so it's like
I didn't even realize. Okay.
161 weeks, it says. So I mean, it's an old photo, but we didn't have to scroll that far. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's see. What's the newest? Okay, the newest ones are posted like now.
Yeah.
Well, ish. Oh no, not really.
No, the one before
like
that
last
was
year.
February.
Where are the new pictures?
Yeah, so that's
okay. If you're not active on Instagram, don't even complain that no one's following it.
Yeah.
You have to be super active, especially the beginning. And nowadays I'm not super active. Like, I should be more active than I am right now, because I only post when I have new work or where I have a new video to promote and stuff like that. But I can afford it because I already have a following and it doesn't really matter that much. Like, I already grew my Instagram to like a pretty good size. But if you are trying to grow, which you should be, then you have to be posting all the time and really working on it. So like, if your last picture was posted, last one was November 19th, so it's not bad. But the one before it was February 7th, like last year, right? So where are the new pictures?
Yep, got to get to it. And I think,
but also
there was one thing I was going to say before I forget. This photograph, and talking about the borders, how you were stressing the importance of that. I don't know if my mind works funny, but like when I see this photo or any photos that have these borders, I feel like something is missing, right? Because I'm not seeing the full thing being folded up, like the full square. I don't see it completely full. So my brain is looking at the edges instead of looking at the photo. And I'm like, something's missing, but there's nothing missing because this is the full photograph. So anyway, what were you going to say?
No, for sure. That's a great way of also explaining it, that like the borders really kind of distract, especially on Instagram. It depends on what medium you're looking at it, like, is it a print? If it's a print or if it's hanging on the wall, might be different. But like on Instagram, just in general, I think people should get rid of that. One last thing that I'm gonna say is that I see again that he has like some really cool work. Like if you scroll down, like he's done like some commercial work for this person. It's like a book cover, which looks super good. Like I really like it.
Was it this one?
Scroll even longer. No, more. It's like the yoga stuff.
Oh,
yeah. It's like a book cover. Like that picture looks really good in my opinion. And no, the other one with the guy sitting on the that one. I think that looks so good. And like that really shows that, you know, you work with clients, you make money as a photographer. I think if you post more of it doesn't have to be specifically like with all of the writing and stuff. It could be like first picture, just the picture, and then the second one people scroll, it can be with all of the magazine writing. But like I like that. Why don't you post more stuff like this? I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, I think all of this feedback, hopefully, you know, the main thing I think is just like you got to shoot more and you got to post more. That's going to be the key. Because I mean, you know, looking back on this, I mean, there's only a handful of photos for this year, and I get with the pandemic and stuff, it could be kind of hard. But you know, to be successful on Instagram, you have to be active. That's huge.
And you know what? If you don't have any new work, you can repost some of your old work. Like I've done that sometimes. I've done stuff like, you know, looking back at some pictures I took last year, and like it's fine to sometimes repost some of your old work if you really need to, you know, if you don't have anything but you really need to post something. So I think that's totally fine. Yep.
I totally agree. And you know, worst case, you could always do like self-portraits, you know, that's always a fun thing to do as well, and post that.
I mean, for sure. And but I will say this for Charlie, that like overall, I think you can tell that he is a professional photographer, and that again, that he works with people. I can see that. And I do love a lot of the images that he has here. Like they're clean, they're nicely done. If he just cleans up his page a little bit and makes it a little bit more like easy on the eye, takes out the his logo, like the name out, like even this, like that's a nice ass picture. Like I like it.
I mean, honestly, like I love this.
It's clean.
This photograph, I love.
Same.
Like,
yes.
Capital LOVE. I love this photo. Like I would post this on my feed. Like it's a beautiful photo if I took it, of course.
You know, sometimes I look at feeds and I'm like, I wish I could just like do this for them. Like just take their images. Like if I get their whole portfolio and I like post it for them. Oh, one more quick tip for people that if it's hard for you to understand like what will look good together, there's a lot of apps where you can upload a bunch of your images and it will already make an Instagram feed, and you can then like move them around to see what looks best.
Right.
And that way you'll know which pictures to post next. So I use those sometimes just to see what my feed is going to look like with new pictures. Sometimes it's hard to see. It's hard to kind of like visualize it. So I recommend like trying to use one of those apps as well. There are a bunch of free ones like that. They're called something like Instagram Grid or Instagram like Feed.
Right.
Yeah.
Great advice. And hopefully you can, you know, take some of this advice and kind of change things up a little bit, you know, because you're on the right track. But let's go to our next one. We've got A Picture Tells a Story. He's ERRN and a photographer from Fort Myers, Florida. And I'll just go through a few of these here.
Let's see. Okay, so one thing that I do like, and I don't often like it, but I do like that it's all in black and white.
Right. Yeah, there's a theme.
I like the way the feed looks. It's all in black and white. You can see the style immediately. You can see what he's going for. He mostly does like street photography. I like the name as well.
Yeah, A Picture Tells a Story. What do you think about that format though? Like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like more than one underscore in an Instagram handle.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I agree because it's hard to type in, and it is a long one.
Yeah.
So
especially with the underscores too, because like, you know, it's not like you're just pushing a button to make it. Like you usually have to like long press to get that to pop up, and to do it 4 times, it's it's a little
That's
much.
Like all sorts of stuff. he shoots all sorts of stuff, I
Yeah.
guess. Now I'm seeing it. So it's okay. So this is where I have a problem.
Yeah.
And he has multiple accounts as well, I'm seeing, because he has his other IG, just photographs by Steven, and then Steven Boeski.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is where the confusion comes in. And I was just actually doing like a review for another photographer. He has the same thing. Way too many accounts, way too many things he's interested in photographing. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being interested in photographing a lot of things. But if you are actually wanting to like make money off photography and you're not doing it just as a hobby, you have to narrow it down to like one thing,
right.
Unfortunately. Yep. Or two maybe that are like kind of together, right? So like, let's say like if you are like a family photographer, you can shoot weddings and like newborns or something like that, right? Because it's in one category. But if you're doing like wildlife and street photography and portraits and weddings and this, it's too many things. It's like you're master of none,
mm-hmm.
you know? So this account is kind of like, again, if it just wants to be like a little portfolio for all of your work that you're interested in, that's totally cool. But if you want to grow your Instagram, if you want to make money, then it won't work.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I like the black and white aesthetic of the Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I do think that like if I drill into some of these photos, like let's say I drill into this most recent one, you know, I don't think this is like the strongest. And of course, it's just a gray box right now because it's loading up. So
it's a beautiful abstract picture.
You know, it's amazing how it almost looks like a video with that animation of the shine.
Yeah, it does.
Let's try this again. Wow, maybe he's like deleting it just as I'm trying to. That's possible, but you know, you can even see it kind of small here. Like, it's really hard.
It's kind of a snapshot.
Yeah, it's a snapshot. And I feel like there's a bunch of snapshots mixed in with like, you know, some street scenes.
Oh, you know what? He did delete it. That picture does not exist because I don't see it on the feed, on the Instagram.
I knew it.
That's why it was.
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad. I mean, that was the right thing to do, I think, because some of these, you know, something like this, like, you know, it just feels like a snap. And, you know, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but when you have a snap and there's nothing super interesting going on, you know, for me, that's where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's cool to take the photo to practice and all that, but to post on Instagram, I think that's where, you know, it may be too far.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, that's the thing with street photography in general is that, you see, these pictures I love.
Yeah.
The nature pictures I think are really cute and really well like composed and everything. Like I really like them, and light looks great as well. Yep. But with the street photography, I do agree with you that here, because street photography in general, it's a little bit hard to understand sometimes.
Right.
Because a lot of people I feel like confused that like you just take a picture outside and turn it into black and white, that automatically it's like that's street photography. But street photography is like super complex, and you have to, the whole art in it is that you're supposed to take a picture of something that's super ordinary, but make it not look ordinary. Right. And like find the beauty in like the things that are like simple, or then it like tells a specific story. Like he's trying to say like a picture tells a story, but it has to be very like impactful and interesting to look at, legitimately for someone to like look at it and think about it, right? So I think he is on a good track though, because the light looks good and the composition looks really good. So now the last thing would be with street photography specifically, to look for something even more interesting and striking. And like that's hard to do because you have to just like walk around for a long time, and then you might not even get anything on that day, you know,
or you might get
but you have to continue shooting.
I mean,
see, that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, you know, and hopefully, you know, take this feedback. Like the main thing I would kind of impart on you is to really focus on trying to figure out if your image has a story, that it's immediately recognizable, that there's a character in the story, that there's a hero, as I like to say in the shot. You know, oftentimes like a shot like this, for example, where you have a bunch of people, And then, with the caption, remember life before COVID.
See,
Like, you got to pick a subject because there's so many people here. It's like, I don't know where to look. And for me, it's like, I just glance over it.
for sure. But then when I scroll, I do see some that I really like. Like if you scroll down, I really like this image with the girl and the guy on a scooter and the girl is on the phone. I think it's a cool picture. You have to scroll more, I think.
All right.
It's almost there. So maybe it's kind of similar to the first guy where like you have to really, because I think how many, lower, I think too. A little bit lower. Oh, there they are. I kind of like that picture. I think that's interesting. I think that's kind of cool. But how many posts does he have? 318. Okay, it's not that many. But what I would do, I would clean it up a little bit. I would clean it up a little bit and get rid of some of the images that are just kind of meh, and then leave the ones that are better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And hopefully this kind of helps out. Thanks for the super chat. And I'm going to stop the screen share for a second and go full screen while I pull up the additional pages here. And in the meantime, tell me to buy a little bit of time while I pull up some of these pages. Tell me kind of like, what is it for you that like makes a Instagram page bingeable? Right. Because like I know for me, I know the Instagram pages that I look at where like I'll see a photo in my timeline and then I immediately go to their profile and I'll start just scrolling through and clicking. Like, what do you do to do that for your own page? And then what do you look for in other people's pages to kind of make that happen?
I think if you're talking specifically for photography, the first thing is the aesthetics of the feed and understanding what that photographer shoots. So they have to have a specific style and specific type of photography. I normally follow a lot of portrait photographers. And again, if I see a page like what we just had before, where it's a mix of things, I normally don't really follow pages like that because it's a little bit hard to, like, I'm not very interested in street photography. So I don't really care to follow someone that posts a lot of street photography, even though they have some portraits mixed in with it. So that was one of the reasons why I was like, you have to pick one. People normally are interested in one thing, right? Like there are lots of people that like street photography and that's what they want to follow. And if you have a mix of things, what happens a lot if you got followed by people that like street stuff and then they see you posted a portrait, they'll be like, why am I following this page? Like unfollow, right? That's what I usually do. If I see something random in my feed, I'll be like, I did not follow this page. I don't follow like wildlife photography. So making sure that you have a specific aesthetic, specific style, and specific genre of photography on an Instagram page. And if you like shooting lots of stuff, you can always create like a separate account where you put whatever you want, or have like few separate accounts for different genres of photography that you do. But normally, just in general, it's better to have just one thing that you're really, really good at, right? And then I just love following people that are really good.
Yeah.
Again, if they have a good aesthetic to their feed, like, let me see, someone that I really like. Let's see, look at their feed.
Yeah, and then I'll pull it up on here so that we can all see it.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't say the what's his name? I have so many photographers that I like. Okay, let's do this one. His name is so his Instagram is, can I put his in the chat here for you?
Let's see.
Nicholas Foles. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Oh, with the H.
ITHO. Oh, here it is.
With CH, yes. He is right now one of my favorite photographers, and I think every time I open one of his images, first of all, I know that it's his work. So even without looking at his name, I know that it's his stuff. And that's one of the things that people always tell me about my Instagram as well. And something that really helps is that if you have a recognizable style that people like know immediately without even knowing,
Oh, wow.
you know, who you are, right? So whenever I see his work, I'm like, okay, no, he took it, you know?
Dang, look at these
And,
eyebrows. Wow.
so if you look at
Beautiful.
his feed, first of all, if you look at his feed, you'll see there's no borders, right? There's no too much of the same either. Like he just posts the carousel instead of like too many of the same image in the feed. But like the aesthetic is there. It all looks like his style. The colors are slowly like morphing into another color, and the color palette is always similar as well.
Yeah.
So just all together, it looks very cohesive. It looks nice. It looks interesting. So I think something like this is like a great Instagram. And by the way, he's grown so much as well. I think I followed him like half a year ago or something, and he didn't have that many followers, but now he's growing really fast. And I know he's going to be at like 1 million soon.
Yeah.
For
really
sure.
Amazing work. I just gave him a follow. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, so that's
but you
great
know
feedback.
But I will say that it is different stuff works for different people.
Yeah.
So sometimes you look at someone's Instagram and they don't follow specifically some kind of rule, and they still have a lot of followers, because that can be because they're super charismatic or they share a lot of knowledge with their followers, or they do a lot of live streams on Instagram, or a lot of stories. Like it's a lot of things that comes into like being successful on Instagram. It's not just your feed, it's like everything all together. So
totally agree. And that's excellent feedback. Hopefully you guys in the chat are getting some good value out of today. And if you are, let us know. Actually, if you are, make sure you click like on this video, because I see. And
follow Miguel.
Yeah, follow me, please. And follow Irene. I mean, you got a lot of followers, so I'm sure all the people watching.
We have to get Miguel to 100K.
Oh my gosh, that's like the dream right now. That's the dream. 100K and beyond. I got to catch up. I got a long ways to go. But let's get started. Let's continue on. We've got Robert Gordon, based in Miami, 1,397 followers. And let's scroll through here.
Robert Gordon.
So a lot of color is kind of my immediate thing that's jumping out. It's like
what is the name again? Sorry, I have to try. I'm trying to find it on my phone.
So hold on, let me scroll back up to the top. There it is. Robert Gordon photo.
Aha, found it.
Yeah, really colorful portfolio. Beautiful models. Cool styling. Yeah, really interesting. Interesting work.
Okay, I have already a few things to say. Do you have something you want to say first?
No, I mean that's kind of my main first impression, but I'm interested to see what you think.
Okay, so if we specifically look at this picture right here,
how far down is that? Let's see.
It's not that far down.
Let's see.
Or even you can take the one with eyebrows, with the blue eyebrows. You can take that one as well. It's the same critique. Like the up. Oh yeah. Or even now that you've seen this, the blue eyebrows, that's another one that I would critique. Okay, so again, it might be just my personal taste. Yeah. Again, it might be just my personal taste, but this is something I used to do not a lot of people know, but when I started doing photography, I was actually really into fashion photography. So I shot like in the studio a lot. I wanted to shoot for like magazines. That was my dream, like fashion photography. And one of the mistakes that I did was thinking that like fashion just automatically needs to be like super avant-garde, crazy, insane stuff. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of like crazy makeup, crazy clothing, like stuff that's very like, insane. But there is such art to doing that stuff that a lot of the times it will look a little bit like tacky or a little bit too much or not very flattering. And I think in this case, and it might be just the makeup artist. I don't know if someone did makeup for this.
Yeah, they did. Sorry,
because that was another that was another thing that was kind of a mistake that I did starting off, is working with makeup artists that are also just like starting out or don't really know what they're doing. So yeah, in my opinion, like the eyebrows, that does not look good.
Yeah.
Like the makeup does not look good. It just, the expression a little bit doesn't work either. Like it's good editing. Like I love the edit. The lighting is really good. I love the composition, but the styling itself is not working here at all. Like imagine this picture without the makeup.
Yeah.
Like with just simple, clean stuff, it would look so gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes less is more, or if you want to do more, you really have to know what you're doing, because you're gonna end up with something that's doesn't look modern and doesn't look stylish.
Yeah, I feel you. I agree with you 100%. You know, I think you know, less is more for sure, especially when it comes to like a really close-up photo like this. I think what really makes this type of photo and this crop work, when it works, is like a really powerful expression. That's always the thing that grabs first. And I think this expression to me looks very like out to lunch. You know, but, you know, on the plus side of things, like from the photographer's, you know, if I'm going to critique the work itself, like the lighting is on point. You know, I can't say very much about the lighting. Like the lighting is great. You know, I think there's good things happening on that side of things, but I agree on the makeup side of things, which unfortunately as photographers, it's kind of on us to make sure that we do our quality checks. You know, when the makeup is done, that we look and we say, okay, what can we do here? And if not, we get into post-production and we ask the retouchers, which I see there's at retoucher Olga. So it was outsourced. So I would have gone back to the retoucher and said, all this area here, like draw in some eyebrows. And it stinks because it takes time and you have to go one by one and draw hairs. But I've done it many a times on photos. If you're going to outline it like this, you have to draw in those hairs, because if not, it's like, why is the makeup like that? You know, it's supposed to be kind of like going around eyebrows and there's no eyebrows there. So
you know, sometimes it's just not worth like saving a picture. Like again, maybe I'm just like harsh, but like I said, from the photographer's point, I think he did a really good job. Same here, like the makeup just no. I'm sorry to the makeup artists. I don't know if they're watching, but like the idea is there, I guess, but the
retouch is really heavy too.
Yeah, it's. But to me, honestly, the biggest thing is the makeup. Like the makeup, you know, styling, that's one thing that I always teach everyone. Like in my workshops, everything, I have a whole section on styling, because styling is so important. Like it can really make your image suck or make it really, really good. And so again, if you personally don't know how to do it, look through magazines, look through other people's work, and try to like kind of copy it first or take elements from it until you kind of understand what looks good. But a photographer should really know what looks good and what doesn't.
You know what's crazy to me though is like you see those photos that we've been talking about now for a few minutes, and then you like see the most recent stuff. And I would almost say that it's like it's not even the same person. Like I feel like I'm looking at like two totally different photographers' portfolios.
I see what you mean for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the recent stuff is pretty, you know, it's pretty good.
Like that's crazy.
The one
that blue one? The blue one is insane. It's really cool.
This one, with the shadow background?
No, with like the I don't know, it's like she's like a space woman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That picture is insane. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Like that looks really, really
very
dope.
Creative.
So I agree with you.
Yeah, I would probably, I mean, if it was me, I would go back, especially as your work improves. And I've done this many times. Like as your work improves, some of the older stuff that isn't as strong, you know, might be worth just going back through and just kind of getting rid of those.
You know, you are so right. The stuff is very all over the place. Like it's good, but all over the place. Like we have also like some like this that looks completely different.
Yeah.
If you scroll down a little bit, or then like kind of like something like this. That's almost it's like a scary spooky picture. You know, like here there's those two, which you know, I like this style is like more that romantic with like the blurry background, you know. And then we go to like something else, and this looks like a catalog picture, you know,
Yeah.
like advertising dresses and stuff. So I think it's definitely the case of like a commercial photographer that just shoots everything. And again, what ends up happening is like you will make money and stuff, but you won't make like a lot of money.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because they're hiring
Because
you for your taste, you know, and so going through the feed, like they're looking to see that you have really good taste and a good eye for photography, to know the difference between good and bad. And so there's a lot of good here, but then there's some stuff here that's not as strong. And it's like, that's where it's up to you as the curator of your Instagram profile to go in and be like, okay, this is not up to standard, and just axe it.
Well, you know, I think a lot of them are good quality, but like you said, they are very, very different. And like, I'll tell you, like, let's say that I'm a client and I'm looking for someone that shoots boudoir, right? I will not look for a photographer that shoots everything, because he has like a boudoir picture here at the top with the girl in lingerie. I don't know if it's like a more commercial shot.
Yeah, the most recent one.
But let's say that I'm looking for boudoir. I definitely wouldn't hire like a photographer that has just like one picture boudoir. You know, I would hire a photographer that specializes in boudoir, right? So I think most of his stuff is like commercial work. So I would just focus on that, like posting stuff that just specifically is more that commercial, like clean look that clients are looking for, and not posting too many random things. Again, like everyone has this problem. It is a big problem, is that a lot of people think that they'll make more money if they can do everything, right? So that like if a client asks them to do whatever, they'll be able to do it. And it's great to have that knowledge and be able to shoot a lot of things. But if you want to make like good money being a photographer, not just like random money, then you really have to specialize in something.
I like that. Random money.
I don't know what I just said.
I like that a lot. I wish I could make random money. Yeah.
But you know, that's what I used to do. I was at the very start, I remember like my little story is that people would tell me, they were like, you cannot make money with your kind of photography, like what I do now. They told me like, there's no way you're going to make money because it's very specific. It's very like, it's an aesthetic that only some people like. And so I trusted them, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. So I shot like events, weddings, I don't know, like family pictures. I shot like everything. I even did some like stuff for people's websites, like shooting products and stuff like that. And then what ended up happening is that, again, like I wasn't making a lot of money at all. But as soon as I started, you know, experimenting and actually doing these kind of photo shoots that I do now for my clients, that's when I actually started making a lot of money. Because number one, there was no one else in my area that was shooting something like that for clients. And number two, I realized that women love taking these kind of pictures, and they'll pay a lot of money to look like a princess.
Absolutely.
You know, so
absolutely.
And then when I moved on to doing YouTube full time, and I had to like tell all of my clients, and I had a lot of clients that were returning as well. Like we would do one photo shoot and they would be like, oh my God, I want to do more. Right. So I had a lot of returning clients that would book like at least like 4 times a year. And so I had to email them and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm not taking on clients anymore. A lot of them were like, I'll pay you more, you know, I'll pay you double. You know?
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important to, like, once you start being really good at that one thing, the clients will want you no matter what.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can then price really high, and because you're an expert in that one thing, right? Yep. So
I couldn't agree with you more. I've had so many random like opportunities over the years from people that saw my work. You know, like a prime example, last year I shot a eyewear campaign, and you know, this eyewear campaign, like I don't have any eyewear stuff in my portfolio at all. I've maybe shot it on occasion, like a model brings a pair of shades in and I photograph it. These people hired me based off of the work that I posted on my Instagram. And they're like, well, we like your beauty work. Could you do the same thing if they were wearing glasses? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Right. And so I ended up booking this amazing gig, you know, off of my beauty work, but it wasn't beauty photography I got hired for. It was eyewear. So, you know, that happens all the time. And so, 100%. Really good advice. Thank you for the super chat, and we'll move on to Sam BM Photo.
Sam BM
Photo. 185 followers. New York, New Jersey. Portrait, fashion, family, wedding. A lot of stuff. But let's see.
But I will tell you that here, at least, it is, again, more of a one genre.
Right.
Because like I was saying, if you're like, yes, it's portraits. And like, if you're like a family photographer, you do weddings, you do all of that together, I think that's totally fine. Yep. It would be weird if there was like a wildlife image in there all of a sudden, but this is all, okay. Here's another one that I hate, another trend.
Which one?
This one I hate even more than the sidebars.
Hold on.
These
where is
styles.
That? Oh yeah.
It's scroll down just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Lord help
Please
us.
do not commit this crime.
I went on and on
It's
about this yesterday, and I know people were just like, "Oh, Miguel," But I literally, I'm right there with you. Like these shots for me, I will immediately. I'm talking about like as fast as my finger can move, I will click unfollow on a profile when I see this pop up on my feed. Like no hesitation. I might even block the profile just in case I see it later on.
I thought that I was mean about it.
No, I'm saying this with love, everybody. Like I really want you guys to succeed on the platform. And I know like I'm not the only one that unfollows people that do this on their feed. I've had plenty of people tell me the same thing, which is part of the reason why I never do it. Plus, even if
it's another one below.
Yeah, it's like even if I look at it as is, right? Which most of the time people have to click on the profile. They got to scroll up because they're only going to see a piece of it unless they click on your profile. Even if they do that, it still doesn't even look good. Like, look at what her head looks like right now. It looks like she's been decapitated. It looks like either that or she's got like one of those like very long necks, So I'm saying this, jokingly, but I'm saying this with love. Like, please, everybody, if you have these types of photos on your Instagram, do the community a favor. Just post the photo as a whole, because look at that makeup. Look at that face. Look at that location. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shot. It stands on its own as this like beautiful photo. And then oh man, I don't know. Irene, take over on this one. I'm just I need a minute.
So yeah, but listen, he did not do it anymore. I don't see it anymore.
Okay.
When I think this was posted in March, so it's been a while since he's done that grid. So hopefully he just won't do it anymore. Okay, I do really love this picture. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's moody vibes.
Okay. And then there's still few of those
there's a few.
Like the sidebars, but this is a variation of the sidebar, right? Because it's the one that I've seen a lot as well, where it like blurs the image, and I also don't like it. Again, it's just my personal preference, because look at this. That's very interesting. So he posted like the full image here, and then you scroll and you see it like cropped for Instagram. What I would do,
is this a recent photo?
16 hours ago.
Okay.
It's like one of the does he just post a bunch of stuff right now? I think he did.
Refresh it.
I think he just posted like tons of pictures like yesterday. Like all of the new ones are posted at the same time, pretty much. I just realized.
Yeah, I'm seeing different stuff.
Maybe he wanted it for the review.
This is the most recent stuff that I'm seeing on mine. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, if you look at it, if you click on it, they're all been posted like 15 hours ago.
Yeah, 15 hours.
Or an hour ago, or whatever. Like all of the new pictures. But anyways, what I was gonna say, what's interesting is that scroll just a little bit, just a little bit more, where we have those the sidebars. That one right here under the little boy sitting on the no with the bars.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but if you like do the carousel and look at the next picture, here we have it cropped.
Right.
So what I would do is just switch them places so that the cropped one is the first one for your feed. So your feed looks good. And then if you really want to, the next carousel, you can post those bars so that people can see the full image. If you really, really want to do that, I've done that for some of my film stuff. Like, I'll show you real quick, because a lot of my film I scan with borders and I don't like cutting them off. But because I don't like it for my feed, what I'll do, if I find that picture. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll post the first picture like this, which has no borders. And then the next picture in the carousel, I'll post with the borders.
Gotcha. Right.
So that's what I would do if you really like them, if you really want to, if it's like the composition and everything will be ruined, you know?
Right.
So like the first image, crop it, then the next carousel, post the full. So that's what I would do here, just swap them places. So yeah, do not post those bars for your feed, because it looks, I don't like it. I just don't like the way it looks.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I will say the lighting on a lot of these looks pretty good. You know, overall, like from a technical perspective, the photos are not, you know, they're good. They're good photos. Like there's a few of them here where like, you know, like the first two photos here, to be honest with you, like I talked about this yesterday. It looks like all three of these photos are the same person, but these two are so close in style. It's like, just pick one, you know, post them back to back like that. Sure. Post them in the carousel where people can swipe through it. Because to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't like seeing photos like this. But then the other thing too is you have great lighting, right, on these 6 images, except for this. This lighting, you have to be very, very aware of, you know, in a portrait, what is the light doing to the person and what's it doing to their face? And this is one where like she looks great. The overall exposure is okay, but you're lighting a bunch of stuff that isn't being lit to the max. You know, it's not being lit to its best potential. But I mean, other than that, what else? What do you think?
You know, if we go back onto that picture, I'll tell you like the problem, because I see this when I teach people workshops. I see this all the time. And you know what the problem is? It's like, it always reminds me of this one story of how when I was shooting weddings, it was like 1 o'clock, super harsh light, you know, like barely any shade around. Like I had to really try to look for a nice spot where I can put a lot of people and make it look good. So finally I found some shade and I put the people there. And then this like aunt comes up to me and she's like, hey, why don't you shoot over there by this tree and these flowers? That's really nice over there. So take them all there. And I had to explain to her that the light there is horrific. You know what I mean? Like they'll look horrible. So I think that's what some people don't realize. They'll see a location like with their own eyes and they'll think like, wow, that location looks amazing. Let's shoot you here. But then they don't realize that sometimes although the location might look great, it will not look good in pictures. And if the light is bad there, just leave it, abandon it, and go to a next spot that will look really good for the model. Or, I mean, if you bring like a flash or something to overpower the sun, then you can probably get rid of those shadows and stuff like that. But usually, if it looks like this when you take a picture, just move on. Just move on to something else. Like you're outside, you'll find a spot where she looks, you know, she doesn't have any of that shade.
Or just bring, you know, have a friend come with you that can hold a like a reflector or a flag to block
like a shade.
Because I see where he was going with this. Like you have the bridge in the background that's kind of just adding, you know, a leading line going to the
it's the bridge. It was the bridge. He saw the bridge and he was like, stand there, that's gonna look great. But that didn't realize that the light is not great there at all. Like the natural light.
A lot of feedback, you know. I think there's he's off to a good start. I mean, I would say for 186 followers, you know, I wouldn't expect to see you know, good lighting so frequently throughout the portfolio. So, you know, I'll say kudos for that, and just kind of stay.
I agree. And I'll say just one last thing is to work just a little bit on the editing. Just a little. So because what I see, again, like you said, the composition is there, the light is really good, and most of them, like maybe few of them are not the best, but again, that's like an easy fix. But on a few images, I would say the skin retouch, just a little bit I don't know what specifically he's using. It just looks too soft. Like it's like one of those like easy, just like soften up the face and that's it. And then I think I noticed just like a little bit of almost like an HDR effect in a lot of the images. So I would just ditch that and go for something a little bit softer. So just do a little bit. You see like that HDR, like the sky in the background.
And you can see that
just
and stuff around the buildings too. It's heavy.
Yes. So that, okay. So like, again, a lot of people think that makes the picture look cool, but in my opinion, that just makes it look a little bit cheap.
Right.
So if you want that HDR effect, that crazy light, bring a flash, bring a strobe. Don't do it in post because it will look kind of funky. So yeah, that's another thing that I would just focus on. But other than that, subjects are good. The composition seems to be good. The lighting is good. Just needs a little bit more practice with editing. And just more practice. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
And ditch those things, the tile thing.
Yeah, the tile thing is it's a big one, guys and gals. It is a big one. The tile thing for
crime on Instagram.
Is a
jail.
Major crime. It just like I said, it makes me sad. Just makes me a sad puppy. So thank you for the super chat. Hopefully all of this advice is helping you and helping others that are in the chat room. And we'll keep it moving here because I know you're going to have a phone call here pretty soon. How much longer do you have?
Oh, the phone call is at 2 p.m. So it's right now 1 p.m. at in Canada. So we still have like 45 minutes it depends how long you want to go.
Go forever, but we'll have to, when you leave, I leave. That's how we'll do it. So 45.
Okay. This is an interesting one because I will say for this Instagram, when I said that I don't like the bars, but listen, he's doing it right because I said it's either your pictures have bars or they don't.
Right.
But you see how he has the bars and it looks good because all of his images have the same kind of structure. And even if he has slightly different bars, he puts them in like the columns. So it looks good. And then it scrolls back to like the square format. So I think he's actually doing it right.
Yeah. You know what the other thing too is, this is one of those situations where like bars are not, the photos are damn good. You know what I mean? Photos are damn good. So it's like, you know what? You throw some bars on there. It's like, it's still a damn good photo.
You know what? Trust me, if he had at the very beginning, one picture has bars, one doesn't, the other one is like random, it as the whole, it's hard to look at. You know what I mean? Like it has to be, photography is about aesthetics. It has to look aesthetically pleasing. You cannot have a messy anything. Like imagine you have a website and your website is all like random, one thing here, it's like that's something I don't understand is that a lot of people put a lot of time and effort in their websites to make it look all cohesive and nice, but then their Instagram is like a mess, right? So think of an Instagram the same as your portfolio, as your website. Nowadays, no one even goes to websites. Like literally no one even cares.
Instagram.
You know that I haven't had a website in like 3 years. I haven't had a website in like 3 years,
Just until that Squarespace sponsorship comes through. Then when they come out with like, listen, Irene, we got $100K for you. Got $100,000 for you. I bet you're gonna have that website up real quick. I know I will.
I just honestly I don't use it. Like I'm working on something right now. It's just I didn't really need it until like now. But what I'm trying to say is that people will mostly go to look on your Instagram nowadays more than your website. And so like make sure that it looks good, not messy. And like this is the way to do the borders if you really like them, if you feel like you want it, right? But I think it works for him as well because it's kind of like that almost on the border with fine art or trying to be, so it looks good with like a frame.
Yeah. But you know what? There's just so many like what I would call like fundamentals of photography, as I look through some of these photos, like really good light. You notice there's not this like HDR thing like what we saw with the other photos. You know, he really is looking at the light, looking at the shadows, making sure that the subjects are in the spots that they need to be within these compositions. You know, this is just like really good, classic, like clean photography that's being displayed in a.
It's very clean. Yes,
it's being presented in a really good way. The only thing I could really say that, you know, would maybe be worth kind of looking at is, you know, so he's a street photographer, psychologist, PhD student, 744 followers. I think if you're going to grow your following, you really just need to like hone in and focus on, you know, just kind of like focus on the one thing. Cause there is kind of just, you know, to me, like this photo with the phone, you know, doesn't feel like street photography to me, even though maybe that was just somebody who was taking a photo to take it, but doesn't feel street photography-ish. You know, there's some really good.
No, I agree what you mean. I totally agree with what you mean, because if we look at like these images, this like architectural stuff that's very clean,
yeah,
it feels like on a different level than if we look at this very first picture of just a sunset.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's a different.
And then look, just to prove my point, scroll kind of further down when he wasn't doing like a more clean look, and you'll see how messy it looks. Just scroll a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little more, lower. It's like far down. Oh, there it begins. Look at all of the like how the borders are like different on each pictures, and then we have like something like this, something like that, and it like, does it look clean now? Like it does not, right? It looks so much better at the very top where we had like, the way he's like structuring it right now. I think that's the way to go. Like it looks really good in my opinion. And I would just, I think he's definitely onto something. I really like those simple, effective, like super clean architectural images. I think he should just stay within that, because it seems like that's what he's really good at. Like it really worked. Like that is super cool. Like that picture at the top
right.
The shot of it's the very no. Oh, that's a cool picture too, by the way.
It's like, I like that one. Which one are you talking about?
Oh, at the very, very top now. If you scroll again to the top of his feed.
Top of the feed.
He has like the blue, even higher. Yeah, the blue one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, and you could tell, I mean, 1,000 likes, you know, and
it kind of reminds me, oh my God, I'm so bad with names. He's a YouTuber as well, and he does like street photography. He always like makes videos like talking about like art of photography. Oh my God, what is his name? I'm so bad.
I think, isn't that his channel, Art of Photography?
No, that's
Ted?
No, that's Ted Forbes. No, I'm talking about he's like street photographer. He does also portraits and like, oh my goodness. People help me. No, in the comments. No, not Pierre. It's more like fine art almost as well.
Yeah, I mean, this has like a fine art. I mean, it's got hashtag fine art there too. So like, I think he recognizes that. But yeah, you know, this is tough. I feel like, you know, my only advice is, I'm not a street photographer, but what I would say is go to some of the profiles on Instagram of other street photographers and just kind of see what's working for them in terms of how they're laying out their feed, color palettes, because I think color palettes plays a pretty big role in this. Like individually, each of these photos look kind of interesting, but even looking at these 6 photos, the color palettes are all over the place, you know, and so it doesn't have like a cohesive, you know, look to it. Like if you go to, let's just say you go to like, I don't know, just to pick another YouTuber, go to Peter McKinnon's Instagram and look at his aesthetic across his photos, and they're all going to look
Sean Tucker. Sorry.
Sean Tucker. There you go.
That's who I was talking about.
Yep.
I thought that his name was Sean, but then I'm so bad with names again, didn't want. But that's what kind of, it gives me the feel of that a little bit, you know? So I think if he kind of, there we go. Yes, Sean Tucker. So like, I don't know, it just gives me, I bet he follows him because it
Yeah.
kind of looks like his feed.
Yeah, yeah. That's smart though, you know? I mean, his
But
it
listen,
works.
yes, yeah. So I would definitely say go with that because to me, like it automatically gave me that feel, that like luxurious, like quality feel. So I would just continue. I think he's on the right way. I think he like figured out what works for him, and I think it looks really good.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Hope that feedback helps out. Let's move on to S2B Photos.
S2B.
J. Cole, The Art of Portrait from LA. And 1,600 followers. And let's...
S2B Photos. Okay.
And I think I remember seeing this photo. I think he tagged me in this. Yeah, he did. I remember. I saw this one earlier today. So... Yeah, so I'll kind of start this thing off, and I talked about this yesterday, and I'm seeing it again. I'm going to challenge all of you, right? If you're watching this feed right now, I want you to go through your Instagram profiles and look whenever you post these where you have the same person, you know, for 3 photos in a row. I want you to look at the 3 photos, look at who has the most likes, which photo has the most likes, which one has the most engagement, which to me is very important. Delete the other 2 and literally just go through your feed. And if you have like, you know, multiples, like this one here is kind of crazy to me because like this is a black box. So unless it's that, you know, okay, so it's Blackout Tuesday. So that makes sense. You know, but like these shots like this, where you have, you know, 3 in a row, it's like pick the best one and delete the others, and then maybe later on down the road like repost them, but spread them out. That's kind of the big feedback. The other thing too is when I go to these like when I'm scrolling down on the feed, I'm seeing some really interesting, like good lighting, good models, like really nice photos. But then these most recent ones, I mean, I get the Matrix vibe, it's a creative thing, but like this photo is a little, you know, Matrix 4.
Oh, you know, it looks very amateur.
Yeah,
that
like
picture.
if I stopped at this, like this was the only photo I saw because he tagged me in this one, but like I wouldn't have thought that he was a good photographer if I would have only seen this photo. But like seeing the earlier stuff, I'm like, he's pretty good. Like he's not a complete newbie.
So what I'll say, to me, the biggest weakness is editing. Editing is not good. So if I would take like this photo, if you scroll down a little bit, there's this like beautiful portrait. I mean, honestly, you can take any of these and it's going to be the same, but there it is. If you take that picture, if I had the raw of this, I could make this into like awesome picture. You know what I mean? Like I know that the elements are there to have it to be, for it to be a really good picture, but the editing completely ruined it. Like the editing, there's like a weird, I don't know if you can see it, but I think he tried to like do some editing on the hair, but maybe it wasn't working. So he just literally painted like black color over here because I can see like softly, like, yeah, it gets even slightly on the face. It's just literally that whole side of her is just one black color. Like someone just painted black color over there. So there's almost, the skin retouch is very interesting, and then there's like, you know, the lines on the neck, which I also have those lines, but I edit them out.
Everybody does.
It's like the HDR effect is there, but it's like on the whole image. It's like on the skin as well. The color toning again also I don't like. So like, anyways, I would just start it from the beginning on the editing. Just complete different edit on this image. Like the image there is super nice, but the editing just ruins it, right? So that's again the same kind of problem that we had with few other people. And yeah, I find it to be one of the biggest things in photography in general for beginners or like for people that are just like figuring out stuff. Editing is so important. Like you should learn how to edit correctly because otherwise you'll ruin your pictures.
Yeah, and even if you don't learn, which you should, like you should learn the fundamentals of editing a photo, but even if you don't, then outsource it. Give it to somebody who does know, and that's all that they do, and you guys can be like a team. Because some of these photos, I agree with you, they're really nice photos. Some are done well enough, but I feel like some of these, you put them in the hands of a person that all that they do is retouch, and they're going to make these photos look like $1 million,
Yeah, it's and again, we also have like a little bit of a problem with the lighting. Like even like there's I don't know which, it's a little bit lower, or is it higher? This bit lower. I just scrolled, but you can probably find one. I'm sure there would be some other ones where the lighting is not the greatest. Like here, I have a picture with like that.
Yeah.
The harsh light on the face with like it's this picture of a girl with the car. If you scroll down a little bit lower, just a little bit lower, just a little bit lower. Oh, there it is. And it's the fourth one in the carousel. It's like the very last one. By the way, that model is super hot. Like
this one you're talking about?
Shouldn't have yes. The very last one in the carousel.
Gotcha. Here it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in LA.
Yeah.
He has the access to amazing models, So yeah, again, it's the same thing with like just understanding where the light just does not work, and you should just not shoot there at all.
And when she's saying
because that's
what doesn't work, because I know maybe he doesn't see it. Maybe other people are like, I don't know what they're talking about. The light is beautiful. You have to look at highlights and shadows. They tell a story. They are part of the image. And so what you're seeing is you have the light source coming from this direction. It's hitting these strands of hair, and then you get these strands of hair shadows on the face. And so this could have easily been remedied right then and there. Hey, could you do me a favor? Can you take your hair, just pull it out so that you can see the face, and you wouldn't have the shadows of the hair, and you would get more light in the eyes. Easy fix.
I would say, so as being like a natural light photographer, if you just shoot natural light, I would just, for the starters, recommend not shooting harsh light at all. Like if you're just starting out shooting natural light, or you're just still like learning, developing yourself, all this stuff, just don't even attempt it, because it is very hard to make it look good, especially for females. Like maybe with the guy, you can like kind of play with like some harsh angles and lighting. He doesn't have to look pretty. But for female models, I would say just don't even bother. Like look for nice, soft, flattering light, either backlit or in the shade, or just don't shoot at like 2 p.m. during the day. My rule is I only shoot few hours before sunset. And I understand with some clients you won't be able to do that. But if you're just learning, if you're just doing stuff for your portfolio, don't even bother coming outside at 2 p.m. It's not worth it. You will get like not good pictures. That's just how natural light is. Like it's tricky. It's hard to master. And then once you master the shade, once you master backlight, once you master like those easy conditions, then you can move on into experimenting with harsh light. But it's hard. I'll just tell you that right away. It's hard to make it look good. And that's why if you look at my work, you will not find even one picture shot in harsh light. Like that's just the truth of it. If you do like harsh natural light, I suggest you can check out Anita Sadowska. Like she does beautiful work in like natural light that's harsh, and it looks really, really good. So you can check out her YouTube channel, learn how to do that. But my suggestion is just, my suggestion is to just, for starters, master the easy light first, and then you can move on to like something a little bit, harder like that.
Yeah, there's definitely levels to this game, and I think kudos to the people that can be in any scenario and make something that looks great. But I do think there is a lot of value to shooting people when the light is best, and if you can't do that, then you need to make the light.
Oh, for sure. It's like if you're cooking something, why would you cook with like shitty ingredients if you can go to a store and buy really nice, like really good ingredients? You know what I mean? Like if you cook with like the fish that went bad, it'll be stinky. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
so it'll be hard to mask that fish. You know what I mean? Have to use something. I don't know. So that's my approach. Is like, some things are not worth trying to mask them. You know, here's another thing with like that I see with a lot of beginners is that they'll take a picture and then they don't like it, and then but they think, and I did the same exact thing. They think, oh, I can just edit it and make it look nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the same principle. Don't even bother. If you hate that picture, no amount of editing will make you like it. So it's the same way with lighting. If you don't like the lighting from the start, don't even try to make it good somehow. It just won't happen.
You know, I have a name for that. That whole like, you have a photo that's like not good, and then you go into like post-production and you start doing filters and overlays. I have a like a name for that.
What is it?
It's called polishing turds.
Oh, yes.
I've said it so many times, and I know I've offended some people when I say it. But you know, the reality is, like, if you have a bad photo, there's no amount of filters and retouching and, you know, like Lightroom cartwheels that you can do to make that photo good. You just, you know what? You chalk it up to experience, move on.
For sure.
On to the next one.
Oh. Do you know, and you know, people get offended, but listen, everyone takes bad pictures. You know, amount of turds I taken?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I would hope a lot, because, you know.
And it also is a skill to recognize when the picture is good and when the picture is not good. And it did take me quite some time to be able to realize that, like, oh, this picture that I've taken, it's actually not that good.
Right.
Like, I've made a video, if you really want to look at it, I think on my channel, it's an old video, but you can look it up. It's something like reacting to my very first pictures. Like, go and watch it. There's some awful images that I used to take at the very, like, they're literally really bad. So it's just a skill that also comes with time, realizing if you take in something that's not good. But yeah, that's a normal thing. Everyone takes bad pictures, and it's not a big deal. You just move on to the next one.
Is it the reacting to old embarrassing pictures?
Oh my god.
Is that the one?
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But like, that video is so cringy too, because it's very old. But you can see like the bad pictures in there, and they're so funny. They're really awful.
Yes.
They're really awful pictures. Oh my god. You could have tried to find those.
Oh, I've already found it. Boom.
Oh my goodness.
Irene
My
Rudnyk,
old logo. This was in 2015, okay?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. But like, you know what? 110,000 views. So, you know.
Oh my god, why did so many people watch it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
You can never you can't undo this now. So yeah, definitely check out this video. I'm already interested, because
try to scroll just a little bit, just to show at least like one, like if just a little bit more, because it's going to be on the side. Oh, just scroll a little bit more. Oh, there it is. Oh, there they are. Like, you know.
Oh.
And look at that logo. Look at that little copyright at the bottom. Don't even ask. That was my like nickname, like back home in Ukraine. Like,
something Cleo? I can't even tell. Wow. Yeah.
It's so embarrassing. This whole video is embarrassing now, not just the pictures.
This is amazing. Everybody needs to flood this video afterwards and watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna share it on my community tab.
Oh my goodness.
No, but you know what? I'm being honest though. Like, you're 100% right. We've all taken bad photos, and so you know, this isn't about like trying to prop ourselves up as artists to be like, oh, we are amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
We take bad photos too, you know, but the difference is that when you take a bad photo today, the Irene Rudnyk of, you know, 2020 will look at that bad photo and be like, yeah, I'm not going to post it. Not my strongest. Could have done better. Oh, and this is how it could have been better.
For sure. It has happened so many times. And like, even right now, like that happens recently, not recently, but like in the summertime, I shot a shoot where, I mean, and many people would probably say that it's not bad, that it's good. And like the pictures are good, but they're like okay to me. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I want to post them, like I want to share them. I post only my best work, the work that I'm proud of. And so I edited some of the pictures. I sent it to the model and I said, I'm so sorry, this happens. They understand as well. And
yeah, you got to deliver
I
something.
never posted them anywhere. Like, you won't see them on my page.
Right.
So that happens to everyone all the time. And again, I think it's good to recognize it and to be like, dumb. We go to the next one.
Yep, on to the next one. Speaking of on to the next one, let's check out LaForce visuals. We've got Carson LaForce with the really awesome profile picture. I mean, check this guy out. He's got a really nice quality profile photo there. I dig it.
Yes, and I can see it's very much the style that I like. It's romantic, bokeh, beautiful models, almost some themes as well with costumes and stuff like that. So
you could probably
I really like it
a lot better than I could, because this is
for sure.
This feels like your aesthetic and your style, but
yeah, for sure. I definitely could give him some tips. So my first thing is, again, editing.
Yeah.
So the skin edit needs to be better. And again, when I say skin editing, I'm not saying that you should just completely make them look like a Barbie or something like that. But with things like this picture right here, you can see just a little bit on her forehead. There's some the way the light is falling.
In the beginning?
I think it's higher. I think it's a little bit. It's any of those pretty much. If you go a little bit lower. Just one lower. Yeah, that one with the black lipstick.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way the light is falling. And I mean, the light is interesting here. It's not really what I would have moved her face slightly the other way. So it's more lit by the light. But even that could work if you did some editing. So a lot of people have that with their forehead. There's a little bit of a divot here, when our eyebrow bone starts here, and it's normal, but with this kind of lighting it's really exaggerated. So what I would do is do a little bit of dodge and burn, and her forehead will be smooth, and that would be pretty much the correction to the picture. But when you leave these kind of things, it just makes it look not professional.
Right.
That's just my opinion, right? The picture might be really good with the composition and the everything else, but if you just leave that skin, it just automatically to me does not look professional. So I would definitely learn dodge and burn. That would be my first thing. Or I mean, if you feel like dodge and burn is too complex, I don't know, frequency separation or some other skin retouching, but I would definitely do that. I mean, some girls just have perfect skin, and that's cool. That's great. But some people don't have perfect skin. So you will have to learn how to do proper skin retouch. And yes, it will take time, but
it's worth it.
Photography is not easy. Photography takes time. It takes time to create an image that looks really good. So definitely skin retouch number one. Colors look really good. I think the skin tones look good in most images. There were a few that had a little bit too much.
This one photo, I think the skin retouch is okay. The color is okay. What kills me is the eye. And there's going to be a bunch of you that will just see the photo as is, but people like me, when I look at that eye that's not being covered by hair, it looks like her eyeball is floating away. You know what I mean? And it's hard to unsee it once you see it. But if you just look away from the photo, look back at it, and just look at the white part of the eye, and it's going to look like the eyeball is floating. So you want to make sure, and I've said this in one of my portrait tips video, you want to make sure that wherever the nose is pointing, the eyes are looking in the same direction, because you end up with these floaty eyes, especially when the other one is covered and you can only see the one. That's something to look out for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know which ones I really like, the pictures? I love these ones with the girl with the beret and the fall leaves.
Is that our earlier?
I think that was the best attempt at styling the photo shoot, where it actually looks really, really good. because there are few. Yeah.
That feels like
because there. Yes, I've taken some like that for sure. Like I've done multiple shoots, just like that. But I'll tell you that I really like the styling here. It looks cohesive and it looks like it works, because I'll tell you why I'm bringing it up, because some of the images, the attempt at styling didn't really work because it made it look too costumey.
Right.
Like the picture, like this picture right here, I think it's lower with the blue dress, or even you can get that one as well, like with her holding the So I'll tell you, these kind of dresses. Okay, so like the theme is she's like Belle or something, or like a princess or whatever, and she's wearing a modern dress, like a modern prom dress, and for that kind of style of photography, it just will not work. I never buy these kind of dresses for my photo shoots. I only go for vintage. So if we go to my page, I'll show you something like similar, I guess. Do I have even like a princess one? Let's say like this picture, it's a blue dress. But look at the difference of the dresses. Like the dress that I have here it doesn't look, it's just a better style of a dress.
I'm trying to see.
I think the dress that, it's hard to like explain these. It might be just my taste, my personal taste, but I just find that this choice of the dress is just a little bit tacky. Like it's just a little bit, I would look for something a little bit more modern and a little bit more stylish for the photo shoot. I like her hair. I like the little rose that she's holding, the background. Oh, and the background. That's another thing that doesn't work here. So if she is a princess and she's wearing a dress, and we obviously can see like a cityscape in the background, there's like buildings, that makes no sense. If you look at any of my images, you will not see a building, not even once. If you see a building, then the whole fantasy, the whole look is completely ruined. Like we know that she's just in a city, you know what I mean? She's not a princess. She's just doing a photo shoot. So yeah, I would definitely move her to a different spot. I know that it's like a bridge or something probably that you wanted to shoot her there. But again, if this behind is like a city that ruins the whole shot, I would just completely avoid it.
Yeah, there was a comment in the chat that I wanted to highlight, because I think, Charmaine was saying everyone's style is different. You shouldn't compare theirs to yours, but it's not about that. Right? It's not about comparing it to our work or anybody else's work. It's about, is there a story in the image? Does the story make sense? Is the composition good? Is the lighting good? Is the retouching good? None of this, when we're giving examples of the stuff that we've done, it's not to say that like we did it correct, but it's to give an example of like,
I mean, our styles are completely different.
Yeah,
like what you shoot and what I shoot is completely different,
Absolutely.
So it's, when you ask for critique, so I personally, I'm not a person, I don't like critique. I don't like when people critique my work, because I know exactly what I want, and it's exactly what he said. Someone will critique my work with a completely different style, and they'll just say like, oh, I don't like it. And like that critique doesn't do anything. But when you specifically ask for a critique, like I'm sure all these people did, then you have to take it, and again, we're just trying to help out with what we see could be improved.
Right.
You don't have to change a style to be like someone else, but things like changing your editing, or changing the way you light your images, or changing the way you stylize your feed or style your photo shoots, that's something that anyone could improve on.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Not depending on the style.
100%. And, I would say, to kind of like finish off this portfolio on a high note, there's a lot of really good things here. There's a lot of good elements to this. There's a lot of good exposures. It's just like a couple of little tweaks. And if you take all of this advice to heart, I don't know, maybe a few months from now, you'll start to see that your portraits are going to have a bit of a different look to them. So hopefully
I think everyone who has submitted their pictures obviously submitted it for a reason, because they want to learn and they want to grow. So I'm sure that all of them will have major improvements, not even, not depending on what we said either. But yeah, like you said, this last page I personally really like, because again, the style is close to what I do, and I can see like a lot of things that I like: bokeh, composition, lighting, the styling. The styling could be improved just a little bit, and the editing could be improved just a little bit. That's the two things that I would worry about. Other than that, like the feed and stuff like that, I think looks good. We can understand again what this person likes to photograph. They specialize in portraits. They specialize in these like pretty feminine portraits. So that's really great. They already, you know what? This is actually better than some of the other ones that just still even haven't figured out what exactly they want to photograph.
Right.
This person knows exactly what they like and knows exactly what they want to do. They have a specific like style. Now they just have to work on just few things: editing and styling, and they'll be perfect.
Yeah, and he was in the chat and he was saying he would love to know the critiques on some of the older photos. So I scrolled down to the bottom.
Older photos.
You know, a lot of the older photos, they were from they're the same models. And it looks like it might have been from the same set. So, you know, I think, at least for me, I mean, my feedback and critique is still the same. It's all the same things that we said about the first few images still carry over to the older photos. So hopefully this feedback helped. We're going to try to go through a few more here because I know you're getting really close to your time here.
Oh, 140. I think we're just going to have to, maybe we can do one more.
Yeah, let's do one more.
But I'll be close to it.
I'll finish off the last few that I have here on the deck on my own.
For sure.
So so really quick, Keem Ibarra is our next one. 2,300 followers. And let's see. So we got some studio stuff to start us off here. Interesting lighting, clean lighting, some stuff with gels. Yeah, I dig this. I like this. It's cool. Cool concept. Yeah, I mean, I like this.
Ooh, yeah, I like that picture.
You know, skin tones. I would have liked for the whole, you know, for the background to have been fully blue, but I get it. You know, yeah, this is cool. There's a cool style to these photos. Good lighting. Retouching isn't crazy. You know.
Yeah. No. There's okay. So this is an interesting one because I would say it's like good, but also not amazing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a different kind of situation because like you have like good subjects, good lighting, good editing, like you're shooting in the studio. It looks pretty clean, but it doesn't just like pop that I'm just like, oh, wow, this is cool. Let me like check this one out. Like I'm just trying to scroll and see like which picture really captures my attention. And I just can't find one that I'm really like mesmerized by. You know what I mean?
What I think it might be is that it's like, and you know,
oh, I found one that I like.
It's like,
I like
everyday.
This one caught my attention.
Yeah.
Okay, look, if you scroll down a little bit to this picture, just a little bit lower, it like immediately caught my attention. You know what I think it is? It's not that they're everyday people, because you can make everyday people look cool. I think a lot of them are just kind of a little bit flat in the lighting, just a little bit. Like they need a little bit more contrast or pop to them. And then some of them are just a little bit too boring with like the clothing and the makeup or the pose or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think if he applies everything that he's done so far, but then try to be more creative. And you know, for some people, it's very hard to be creative, to like come up with like a cool concept. But I think if he takes his knowledge already of light, of editing, of posing, composition, and try to create something like really eye-catching, something really cool. Like again, even play more with with those gels, like he did with this picture. Like because this picture is more creative, right? It's more interesting stuff in it. I say he just needs to be thinking out of the box just a little bit. Try to make a picture that will really be like, wow, you know, not just like, oh, that's a nice studio shot. Like I want something that's like, wow, how did he do that? You know?
I totally agree. And I know you have to run, so I'll kind of finish off the critiques. And but before you run off, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing that feedback on these profiles. Hopefully, the folks that made it on while you were on got some good value out of it, because I think you do a really good job of like really honing in and kind of picking out those details. So thank you for that.
Hopefully everyone liked it and no one got offended.
No. Listen, it's all love. It's all love.
I'm a little bit harsh sometimes with my critiques, but only because people ask for it, because if I'm just sitting here and saying, I love this, I love that, this looks great, I love it, like, what's the point of it? Like, if you want someone to pat you on the back and just say, like, you did a good job, like, that's not a critique.
Nope. So that's a cheerleader. We got plenty of cheerleaders for that.
And then plus, again, if you feel offended, just look at that video of me reacting to my embarrassing pictures, and you'll see that I used to have such horrible, like, my work was like worse than what we've seen here. Like, what I had, that's on a different level. Like, that was really bad. You know what I mean? So
okay, I'm not going to say anything because you say you don't like critiques. I'm just gonna look at the camera and.
You've seen those pictures. You've seen those few pictures. That was something else. And let me tell you, I thought that they were like amazing. Yeah. I thought that they were just the most beautiful pictures I've ever taken. Right. So yeah, just look at that picture. If you want to feel better about your work, look at that video. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to Miguel, what are you doing?
Not just me,
subscribe to his channel
as well. If you're not, like, if you're the one person in the chat who's like, who is this like girl talking about these photos? Like, check out Irene's YouTube channel. It's absolutely amazing. I was watching it actually this morning, and I was watching it yesterday, and watching the ones that you did in the living room. The most recent video was just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Jealous.
I have a crazy shoot coming up very, very soon. I'm shooting it this Saturday.
Nice.
So stay tuned.
Yep. Stay tuned, everybody. Check her out on her Instagram page. And again, thank you for joining us. And I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Adios. All right. So now you guys just got me. So thanks again, Irene, for coming in. And I'm going to try to go through. I've got 3 more portfolios here, and I might do a couple extra. Just for the sake of it. But, I will say with Keem with this portfolio, this shot in particular would be one that, like, it's not the most flattering expression. She looks like she's like very unsure. She doesn't look confident, I guess is the only way I can put it. And then it's a carousel. And the very next photo is a little bit better. But it's still like her expression to me. This is what I expect to see when I'm photographing somebody who's not comfortable in front of the camera. So that's when you just work with them and you laugh and you joke and you keep shooting and, okay, let's try this. And you keep working them until they start to give you something. And I feel like this first one kind of jumped out at me as one of the shots that I would take when, like, I first pick up the camera at the beginning of the photo shoot, and I'm like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. And they're like, okay. And then they start looking down, they look away, they do this. They will never engage with the camera. And then when they do, because they're not super comfortable, they do this, where it's kind of just like this frail, type of expression. So hopefully that helps as far as like just getting feedback, because here you go, like the very next one, all of a sudden now she's doing some stuff. She loosened up quite a bit. So really that's the big thing. You're doing some really good stuff with your coloring in the studio, which is great. Stay on that same track, especially because the recent stuff looks like it's really good. So thank you for the super chat. We're going to go on to our next portfolio here. Let's go to here we go. All right, Shone Morin, coffee enthusiast and love addict. All right, so let's take a look. So like straight away, the first few photos, it's like film vibes, Like this is what I expect to see when I look up like a Visco, VSCO ad for like their presets. Like this is what I expect to see, like beautiful film quality type of look to these photos. It's all very cohesive. Good lighting, good compositions, cool locations. Really, really good photography, for me, I'm just a big fan of like the film look to photos. And you see it throughout this portfolio all the way through and through. So yeah, really good. If anything, I would say the only critique, I guess, would be like there's some random stuff in the feed that doesn't kind of mix. Like you had all these beautiful locations with these moody vibes, and then there's like a random studio photo, so I feel like we need more of like this type of stuff, which shows off that like color and grain, complementary colors, things of that nature, and less of the random stuff like cats, as cute as they are. I don't know that fits the aesthetic. Same thing with the dogs, unless, let's say, I'll go to the carousel here, but let's say if these dogs were, they belong to someone, so you're using them. Let's say it's this couple's dogs, and like that's part of their story, then cool. Bring the dogs in with the people and maybe add it to the carousel, the second or third image where you have the first image of the people, and then the second one is going to be of the pets, then that type of stuff could work. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a really nice, nice Instagram, good aesthetic. Yeah, good light, don't really have too many, nothing really negative to say, no major critiques other than to say that like, just really keep it focused. It seems like there's a lot of like relationship photos and stuff like that in the portfolio. So I would stick to that and just keep building off of that. You've got some beautiful locations here as well. So like I would really, really hone in and just kind of focus on posting more of this. And I think you'll have some really good success. So thank you for the super chat. Thank you for sharing that. We'll go on to this next portfolio. Romello Vision from Naples, Florida. And let's see. All right. So we'll scroll through a few of these here. Really nice lighting. So, so technically from what I'm seeing, like the lighting looks really good. You're shooting on location. You're getting some interesting locations, just good lighting, really. Stuff like this, I'm not crazy about this, like posting a picture of Google. Like I'm sure this is a video because it's showing that there, but this type of stuff for me doesn't fit the aesthetic. Same thing here, these candles, these street photos, or these just kind of like random shots, product shots. Keep the feed kind of cohesive because, you've got some good stuff in here, but, you just have to be very, very like laser focused with some of these shots. You're there, and then all of a sudden it gets broken up by, some photos with candles. So let's say if you popped up on my feed the day that you posted that photo of the candles, I might have just glanced over your profile and never seen it again. And then, if the way the algorithm works, if one of your photos pops up and someone doesn't click it, and then that happens over and over and over again, you may not ever have your profile shown to that person again, right? It may not even pop up, even if they follow you. If I scroll past too many of your photos, and some of you guys, if you're on Instagram all the time, you probably could look and see the people you follow and see if you remember the last few photos that they posted. And chances are that if you don't engage with those photos, you won't see them on your feed, right? So it's really important that every photo that you post, that it's a photo that people want to click on, that they'll want to engage with, because if too many photos go by without any type of engagement, your growth is going to be stunted. And it shouldn't be, because you have really good images, like really clean, good retouching, natural. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big critique there. Really nice portfolio. Keep it going. We've got another one here. Let me pull this one up because, oh, that's Irene. I was going to say, wow, these are some really nice photos, but I had pulled up Irene's Instagram when she was talking about her photos. So let me go to the next one here. All right. So let's see, share screen. Okay. All right. So this is one of the people that was on earlier that shared their Instagram. So Brooklyn Soccer Nations is the melting ground of people who came as immigrants from the Caribbean, all wanting to showcase their unique soccer skills and style. So it looks like, you know, they're going to these games and kind of taking photos of these different matches. Not a big fan of the HDR on this shot. And I know not all of them have it. And maybe this was like an experimental thing, but you know, it was a cool moment and a cool snap. But when you do the HDR stuff, you start getting these like weird halos and like, it just looks crunchy. So I'm not a super big fan of that. The retouching definitely could be a little bit more subtle. You know, the other thing too is like, I would even say like, this would be something where if I wanted to photograph these people, I would definitely photograph them while they're playing, but I would try really hard to be like, hey, is it possible for me to take some portraits of these players, you know, and maybe have like, you know, start off with like a carousel shot with, you know, their picture, nice, cool portrait that you've taken. And then when you swipe through the carousel, you know, maybe throughout the game, you'll have a bunch of pictures where you have them in action doing cool stuff, you know, and that could be something where like you can have a good mix of like a portrait and an action type of shot where people would want to engage and want to see it. But, you know, as it is, I mean, these sports photos to me, they look a little bit, you know, they look kind of like snaps, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that outside of the people that are part of this league and people that follow this whole thing, I don't know that there's enough value there for people to want to follow this that are outside of that world. So the only way you could really draw them in is by doing something interesting. I think doing the portrait route might be interesting, and maybe, you know, they'll give you the time to like let you take their portraits ahead of these games. But yeah, easy, quick feedback on that. Appreciate you submitting your Instagram profile here. Let's go on to the next one. I'm going to try to breeze through a few of these since we're going pretty long here. And there we go. All right. So Cindy Mag Photography, St. George photographer, wedding and portrait. So let's take a look here. So again, like I was saying with the earlier profiles, you got the film look going for these portraits, really good locations. You know, you could tell straight away, like she's doing pictures of brides and engagements. Beautiful photos. I mean, this is the kind of photo portfolio that gets you booked, you know, that you can make money with. Great moments, great color. Retouching is nice. Yeah, you know, these look really good. I mean, I see what you're doing here on the left side with having like two colors and then a black and white. You know, I think that also there's something to be said for that, having that consistent aesthetic to your feed. So yeah, you know, I kind of dig it. I don't know that the portfolio necessarily needs to have that, but it's the first time that I can remember seeing it, and it actually looks pretty cool. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. But I kind of dig that. You know, I think overall, like the quality of the work is really good. I think, you know, you should be able to get bookings based off the portfolio. You're putting stuff in the description, which is good. You're using your hashtags. Hopefully you're tagging some of these like bridal and engagement magazines and stuff that are in the local area, not just tagging them via hashtag, but actually tagging them as people, tagging their accounts, which I think will take you a long way. But yeah, really beautiful work. Thanks for submitting your Instagram profile. That looks really cool. Let's go on to our next one. Here we go. So we got Ashley Hoff Photography, 17 followers. So relatively small following with 26 posts. So there might be some good opportunity here to give some feedback and maybe grow this thing. Heck, if we all in the chat room go and give Ashley a follow, I think we can make some strides here on her account, because she's got some cool stuff, A few of these are like this first one I think started off really nice. Beautiful photo using hashtags, which is great. Then it goes to this like social activism, taking pictures from the protests and stuff, which is fine. And then it goes back to birds and butterflies and animals. If you're going to like go with the whole animal thing, I would say focus on posting that, because where it gets really confusing is if you start posting photos of, animals, and then you have like random photos that come after that, they're not going to perform as well. And like I was saying earlier, if I follow you because you're photographing all these interesting animals, and then you post something like this and I don't engage with it, right? And then your next post comes up and it's a photo like this and I don't engage with it, Instagram is going to take that as a cue that I don't care so much for your images. So when I log into Instagram the next time, it's not going to be at the top of my feed, right? It's not a chronological order with the feed on Instagram. So the more photos that you post that are not engaged with, they get pushed down the feed. So I really have to be scrolling. And sometimes if I'm engaging with certain accounts a lot, they're going to show me their posts from like days ago, sometimes weeks ago, because they would prioritize those posts that keep viewers on the platform over images that are coming from accounts that you follow that you don't engage with. Hopefully that makes sense. So this was, let me go back. One of these comments here is kind of where I'm going with it. Looks like too many people are posting random photos. Instagram doesn't work like that. One style. I couldn't have said it any better. It's all about posting one style, sticking to it on that page, because when people follow your work, that's what they want to see. They're not following you for just a variety of different types of photos. And even the pages that are like publications that do variety stuff, their Instagram pages don't even do well if they start posting a bunch of stuff. So anyway, hope that feedback helps. Really nice, good start. I mean, there's some good quality images that are in there. We just need to get very hyper focused on, showing one type of style. So let's go to Ulysses Dimdim. I love dark, moody tones. I do too. Portrait lifestyle beauty from the Philippines. So let's take a look. So right out of the gates, really beautiful lighting, beautiful images. This gives me like Danny Diamond vibes. Nice studio stuff. Yeah, this is clean. Too bad Irene isn't here right now. I would love to hear her feedback on something like that. Cool style, good makeup. Yeah, this is a really beautiful portrait work, beautiful location, beautiful studio stuff. Yeah, really clean. Even though there's a mix of everything, it still feels like very kind of cohesive, which is good. Yeah, really nice images. I don't know if this is the same person here. But like I was saying for some of the other profiles earlier, you want to split that up. Don't have the same person back to back, even if it's the same person and one is like a studio and one's a location shot, I would still split it up. You know, usually my rule of thumb for the most part is like every like third image, I'll bring that person back and post them again. But I usually want to have like 3 photos at a minimum of separation between photos of the same person. It's just a basic thing that I follow. But yeah, you know, overall, really nice, clean studio work, clean location work, good faces, good styling. For you to have 1,000 followers right now, that's I'm surprised because you've got really good images. You know, looks like hashtags might be something that you might want to focus on. Let's go through a few of these. So, okay, so you're putting them in the comments. So I would try, because I've done this before too. Sometimes I'll put the hashtags as the first post in the comments, and other times I'll put the hashtags in the description. I would play around with maybe putting the hashtags in the description versus putting them in the comments. Do that for like a few weeks and just see if it makes a difference. And then whenever you're using different brands of products, I would say hashtag the brands as well, or actually tag the brand, not hashtag them. But like if you use the Savage product, you know, at Savage Universal, so that it actually tags the brand. Because at times, like, this is a beautiful photo. Savage might say, you know what, we want to share this on our social media page. And if you used our backdrop, why won't we do that? So same thing, Godox, Canon. You know, if you're going to share this information, I would say physically tag these brands in the photos and then use your hashtags as well. But overall, super beautiful, like really good portfolio. Keep up the good work. I would maybe consider as well changing your profile photo. You know, it's fine to have the message and stuff, but like showing your back to the camera like that, I feel like people would maybe engage with you more if they see your face, if they have a photo, you know, profile photo that's you looking directly at the camera. But just a little bit of feedback, nice and simple, nothing crazy. Hopefully that helps out. And so I'm going to do one more. Let me go through here while I go dig one up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do one more. Here we go. All right. Pull this up. All right. Okay, here we go. Let me share this. All right, Josiah Richwine is going to be the one that's going to close us out today. Published photographer, Florida, DM to book. Let's go through a few of these. So we were talking earlier about photos with borders. If you guys missed my very impromptu portfolio review from yesterday, I would highly recommend to you guys to go back and watch it. There was one person that had a portfolio where they had a lot of photos that had borders, and they did a really cool thing that I had never seen, and I still haven't seen it to this point, that look really good with how they do their backgrounds. Instead of having the white border, they had like a border around the photo, and then there was like a background to it that was a little different. So check out my video from yesterday, and you could see the person's portfolio that I'm referring to. But I don't mind this. It doesn't look bad, but it's still, you know, because the dimensions are all different on these photos, I almost would have preferred if you were just like pinch to zoom these photos and just fill up the box. But beautiful subjects, you know, great lighting. The retouching looks clean. It doesn't look digital, you know, it doesn't look overdone. You know, same thing, like I was saying earlier, if you've got the same model, just give them some breathing room. You know, same thing here, like give them some breathing room. Post the one photo, maybe post one of, you know, a different person, and then another one, and then another one, and then bring back this one. just kind of split them up a little bit more. But yeah, beautiful lighting, great locations, good expressions from these people you're photographing. That's awesome. Kevin Sorbo, great actor. Good portrait, you know, like this one a lot. Yeah. So, you know, I would tell you, I mean, you're working with some recognizable faces, which is great. The work is super clean, you know, like this is beautiful. Yeah. Let me go back. No, what am I doing? Hold on. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, like that's beautiful, you know. Whatever this is on the wall, I might clone that out because that's, you know, not sure what that is. But yeah, just really clean, really nice, beautiful work. You know, you're off to a really, really good start, you know. I would also consider maybe taking a professional photo for your profile photo. I don't know that this works. You're a little bit small in this already small real estate on the Instagram page. So that would be something where, you know, you've got some good photos. Maybe you set up the camera and take a, you know, creative selfie on location in the studio, whatever. And then, you know, change your profile photo to that. So, but yeah, overall, really beautiful photography, great work. You know, I want to thank all of you guys for joining myself, and thanks to Irene for coming in and talking about these different portfolios, talking about the images. Again, when I do these portfolio reviews, the goal really is to help you to improve your photography. So with that being said, couple of things. So I have a Facebook group, which is called Improve Your Photography. So if you go onto Facebook, if you're into Facebook groups and stuff like that, just look up Improve Your Photography with Miguel Quiles. You'll see that Facebook group. Join, share your images through there. I usually go through there at least a few times a week, kind of go through images. And it's great because there's a lot of great photographers in there as well that can also give their feedback. So a lot of you guys are watching right now, and I know you're into getting feedback on your images. So if I didn't get to it today, post it in Improve Your Photography with Miguel Quiles on Facebook. The other thing too is I'm running a promotion right now on my dramatic portraiture tutorial. Normally it sells for, it's got a $300 retail price. It's normally at around $100 or sorry, $200 throughout the year. But for the holidays, I run a promo. So right after Black Friday on through until around the end of Christmas, it's on sale for $89. So you get full tutorial, how I shoot, lighting, ND versus high-speed sync, how I retouch my photos. There's hours of instruction. You see multiple different ways for how I retouch my photos. So hopefully those things will help you out. You can watch it today. It's over 7 hours of content. It's at miguelquiles.com. And yeah, and then also if you're watching, do me a favor, leave a like on this video. If you've been watching for a little while and you've been getting value out of the feedback that myself and Irene have been giving you, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. That's huge thing for me. I have videos coming out all the time. We're not just always doing live streams here. I actually do a bunch of videos teaching about portrait photography, lighting, gear reviews, all of that good stuff. So if you're into that, which I assume you are because you're here watching me right now, subscribe to the channel. It helps out. I'm hoping really beyond a dream to hit 100,000 subscribers before this year is out. I'm about 8,000 shy right now. So even if I don't get there, we're going to keep plugging away. But with that being said, listen, thank you all for being here on this live stream. I'm going to be bringing on new guests. If there's certain people that you would like to have or see on my YouTube channel to critique your photos, let me know in the comment section as well, because I'm friends with a lot of people and I have friends that are friends with a lot of people. So even if I don't know them, I'd be happy to bring on some other people that can lend different perspectives than my own to give you guys feedback. So with that being said, thank you guys all for joining the broadcast today, and see you guys next time.